I still wonder why all the colleges and the universities are overlooking the subject of neuroscience, right? Until you get into professional world and reach a certain stage in a career, you're not getting exposed to that particular aspect, which will benefit people and the organization. I mean, immensely, if at all we start learning that neuroscience related topics much ahead in the career, right?
Yeah, here I would like to add, because now I'm trying to make the uh, institutes understand that the graduates that are coming out of the colleges and institutes are not prepared to face challenges in the outside world. Okay, they may be excellent, they may be toppers in MBA and whatever they are doing, but to manage people, to manage their life, to manage the challenges which they're going to face outside, they need emotional intelligence and neuroscience. Artificial intelligence is there. Both in institutes and colleges, they are going to be teaching. But these two things, if they can bring into this curriculum or system or have training programs for the students, I think the students went from the campus to the corporate world, their transition will be very, very strong and they will become, I think, excellent leaders when they enter the corporate world. Over the years, I have been training a lot of senior leaders in the corporate world. And what I've seen is that they may be, excellent in their work and they have, I mean, superb technical knowledge or academics or anything. But there is the gap which I realized and I noticed. And that gap was the emotional intelligence part, where they are not able to sometimes manage teams. They are not able to sometimes manage their own selves, why they're getting angry, why they're getting frustrated, why they cannot handle the challenges of life. And so I was always very focused on the emotional part. But there was another thing which was bothering me, that it cannot be only emotional problems.
So, folks, I'm going to reveal a secret. Aruna Madam is mother of Yukta Mookhey ji, and she won the Miss World 1999 pageant, and she's also Indian civic activist. So, Aruna Madam, talk to us about how did you shape Yukta Mookhey's dream? Like, was it her dream or your dream, and what role did you play in terms of her becoming Miss World? So, folks, you have tuned into TGV, and hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, the world's only quadrilingual podcast at this moment of recording. And we are trying to embark into multiple languages as we speak. And here we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. And we want to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host, Navin Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. And thank you so much for tuning in. So, folks, we are joined by Aruna Mookhey, who is an accomplished leadership coach, neuro leadership expert, and emotional intelligence strategist who helps leaders elevate their impact through self awareness, empathy, and neuroscience based tools. With her extensive corporate experience and a deep understanding of human behavior, she bridges the worlds of brain science, emotional mastery, and AI driven transformation, inspiring leaders to lead consciously in a fast evolving world. So, Aruna, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm delighted to be on this channel. I have been wanting to come onto your podcast YouTube channel for a long time. And today I have this opportunity and I'm really delighted
Yeah, same with
because,
me. Same with me. We are
yeah,
humbled to have you. And thanks to Dr. Aninda Sidana for connecting both of us. All right. So we'll get started. First and foremost thing which I would like to ask is why should somebody tune into our podcast episode and spend their valuable time with us today?
I think when you say emotional intelligence, neuroscience, these three words or these three statements should be enough for the curiosity to come up anybody to know what is it about and how is it related to leadership. So I think this should be cause enough.
Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, today we are going to delve into an important conversation on the topic at hand, neuro-emotional intelligence, which is the new power skill for modern leaders. But before we get started, here is an exciting twist as always. Let us tickle our guest's brain first. So, Aruna, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words, and I'll mention a few. Would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. And if you're ready, let's get started.
Okay. Okay. I'll do my best.
Yeah, this will be very easy set of words, and we wanted to know the other side of the guest because typically in the mainstream questions we get to know your subject mastery and all those technical skills in a way. But this is something just to know about your personal side, your thought process, and which is going to trigger some sort of curiosity among the audience. So, without further ado, let me fire the first word: curiosity.
I would say curiosity is the fuel for growth.
Invention.
Invention is imagination. And when it comes into action. So I would say imagination and action.
Right. Imagination in action. Super. Future.
Future is a vision.
Hmm. Okay. And then universe.
Universe is a connection that happens like it's a conscious connection.
Leadership.
Leadership is influence
Hmm.
with inspiration.
Wow. Success.
Success is when you feel the fulfillment, whatever you're doing. Success could be I'm talking to you, I'm successful, just being in conversation with you. So, fulfillment of what you're doing. I think that is very important.
Yeah. That's a great perspective. Life.
Life is a series of experiences.
Aliens.
Aliens would be something which mysterious.
Do you believe they are existing?
I would not be able to believe it. But
Okay.
I
Fair enough.
mean, there are so many things we don't know.
Role model.
Role model is somebody who becomes an influencer, inspiration, motivator. That is the role model.
Wow. And the last word is emotion.
Oh, emotions are your soul. I think how we connect to people is through emotion. Yes. So it's a soul connection kind of a thing. Soul. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So simply deep and thought provoking. Thank you so much for participating in the rapid fire round number one. There is one more rapid fire round towards the end of the episode. So stay tuned. And
Okay.
Aruna, madam, thank you so much once again for being part of our journey in shaping the careers and lives of millions across the globe. So let's get into the mainstream. So talk to us about who is your guiding voice.
My guiding voice has always been my inner calling, my passion, my mission, my purpose is all related to this very strong inner voice, my inner calling.
Awesome. And talk to us about your success mantra as in top three things that have contributed to your success so far.
What has contributed to my success, I feel, is my continuous uh, learning. I want to keep on learning, the yearning for learning. That is something, one, my resilience, and I think one very main criteria of my success or my life has been caring for myself, which a lot of people ignore. I have been very particular about that. So these three things, yes.
Okay, super powerful. And also share with us some of the toughest lessons that you have learned in your life.
The toughest lessons I've learned is that whatever you do, even if you're passionate about it, passion is just not enough. So you have to work hard, you have to be dedicated, disciplined. And if you follow these three principles of life, then of course anything is possible. So these have been very important to me.
Amazing, amazing. And with your permission, I'm going to ask you one personal question. And again, this is just to make sure that our audience understand the importance of parents' role in shaping their children's aspirations and giving wings to them. So, folks, I'm going to reveal a secret. Aruna Madam is mother of Yukta Mookhey ji, and she won the Miss World 1999 pageant, and she's also Indian civic activist. So, Aruna Madam, talk to us about how did you shape Yukta Mookhey's dream? Like, was it her dream or your dream? And what role did you play in terms of her becoming Miss World?
Okay, as far as the dream is concerned, it was definitely her dream. Somewhere, I think down the line, it was my dream also. But no, I would rather attribute this to her only. It was her dream. And she worked very hard for it, but she, uh, coming from a very orthodox family, it was very difficult for us to navigate through, not letting the family know until she had left for the contest. So we had to be very supportive in that. And I think credit goes to her father for this. If he had not been supportive, because it was his family he had to handle. So I think I would give a lot of credit to her father, my husband. And he was very supportive. And he said, never mind, we'll keep it to ourselves till she boards the flight and leaves from Bombay to the contest, where the contest was being held. So support in the sense, yes, we were there for her for all her preparations and things. As parents would, we also supported her in whichever way we could. So that was the support. And uh, I think she also knew that whatever she's going in for, we are there behind her.
Wow,
Hard work was hers.
that's wonderful. And also, I think you supported your son's dropping out of college, right? Can you talk a little bit about that? Because someone who gets an admission into a prominent college and suddenly one day he comes in front of you and says, Mom, I'm dropping out. How did you support that?
That was tough. That was tough. But somehow the other, I think good sense prevailed upon both of us as parents. When he announced 6 months before his
Oh
finals,
my God. That's too close.
6 months before his final, he said, I'm dropping out. And it was a shock to me. I was alone at that time in the house. It was a shock to me, but somehow the other, some good sense prevailed. I actually became numb. I didn't know what to say. And then when his father came in, I told him this is the decision. And I think we should not put any resistance to it because he's a child who's never said anything that is, out of the norm or something like that. I mean, he's been a brilliant student. Both children were brilliant students. And he's always had a very focused mindset. So if this is what his decision is, let's just give in to it. And he did very well for himself. I mean, he's doing very well for himself today. Uh, he knew that there would be no support from our side as far as, if he had his dreams. But he knew, I think, what he wanted in life. And he worked towards that. Very focused boy.
Excellent. That means there are no regrets. I think he has made the right decision.
Very proud to be parents of, yeah, proud to be parents of children who have, made a name, created history. And of course, I mean, they have given us a lot of things to be proud of. Yes.
That's amazing. And thanks for sharing that. And you have spoken about the future belonging to neuro-emotionally intelligent leaders, right? So, what does the term truly mean in practice?
This is the very, very important question you have asked. I mean, um, over the years, I have been training a lot of senior leaders in the corporate world. And what I've seen is that they may be, excellent in their work and they have, superb technical knowledge or academics or anything. But there's the gap which I realized and I noticed, and that gap was the emotional intelligence part, where they are not able to sometimes manage teams. They are not able to sometimes manage their own selves, why they're getting angry, why they're getting frustrated, why they cannot handle the challenges of life. And so I was always very focused on the emotional part. But there was another thing which was bothering me, that it cannot be only emotional problems. It has to be something to do with, something else about a human being that is coming in between. And then when I studied and I went through a lot of courses on emotional intelligence, that is where I got this very big learning that we need to understand the neuroscience part of it, neuro, the brain part of it. How does our brain work? Because everything is controlled by the brain. Now, how does the brain work to align with emotions? And then I started to, when I was studying this, I realized that the problems that we are facing is that um, supposing a person is, feeling low, or there is a kind of a burnout at some stage of your life, you really don't know what to do. You're stuck. You feel that um, I think life is, very difficult. Challenges are there, and all kinds of things. But at the same time, if you understand how my brain works and how my thought process, which is very, very important, how does my thought process work, and how I can maneuver that, change the pattern of my thinking, and therefore change the emotional state. Now, supposing it's very important for a leader to have a very high energy emotional state. If you are high in energy, your team will get that, it ripples down to your team, and then the team also becomes energetic and they want, yeah, yeah, we want to do it. But that happens only when you realize that my energy levels are going down. And that awareness is very important. So once you are aware and you send a signal to your brain that, no, I can change my energy levels. There are so many methods to do it. The moment I change my energy level and the excitement and energy is high, my team gets motivated to work better. So as a leader, it's very important. And how it is aligned to the brain is where the neurological part comes in. So neuroscience is as important, and it has to be aligned. It's like, together. They are like together partners, emotions and neuroscience. So that is how they come together, and you can make excellent leaders if they understand these two things.
Yeah. And before I ask my next question, one more personal question. So over the last few interactions, I see your energy levels are beaming, and your energy is something contagious. That's what I feel, right? So what is the secret of your energy? And you're so active.
Okay, this, I don't know. I think the secret of my energy is to keep doing things. I cannot sit and say, okay, I've done enough, and I keep doing different things. But main thing I would contribute it to the way I have kept going for my fitness, taking care of my fitness, and very importantly, so I have been practicing yoga for the last 47 years now.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And then 2 years ago, at the age of 74, I started gym. And so since last 2 years, I've been going to the gym also alternatively. And of course, along with yoga, I've been meditating a lot. So these things keep the mind calm, and yoga and gym together have uh, contributed to the energy levels. And most importantly, I think it is my spirit to keep learning. I'm unstoppable. I mean, for me, nothing can stop me. So I love that part of me. And yes, the energy comes from there.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think you are an epitome of inspiration in this sense as well.
Thank you so
So
much.
thank you for sharing those. And let's move to the next question from the topic. So today we are in the AI driven world. AI is already here, and everywhere you go, any field, people are trying to integrate this artificial intelligence and make the best utilization of it. So my next one is like, how do this emotional intelligence and neuroscience complement AI instead of competing with it?
Oh, yes. Artificial intelligence is something new, absolutely new to the world also. But for people of our age, it's like an alien thing when you say it, alien thing. But somehow the other, I find it very interesting, very helpful. I have been doing my best to learn whatever I can about in, uh, artificial intelligence. How it comes along with emotional intelligence and neuroscience. So, artificial intelligence is the data part, and that data gets aligned to the emotional part. And when we say emotional part, of course, neuroscience comes in. So, three of and neuroscience is brain work. So, we have the emotions, we have the brain work, and the data which is uh, coming through artificial intelligence. And if a leader can combine all these three together, can you imagine what kind of a leader he will be or she will be? I I feel that this combination is a very, very what do you call strong kind of combination to make excellent leaders. Yeah, because they'll be having data, they have emotions which they can manage. So clarity of decision making, brain work, neuroscience is there. They know that if this pattern is not working, we have the ability to change that pattern. And once you change the pattern, the life changes, challenges become easy. And of course, you can manage people much easier. So, three of them together are not supposed to compete with each other. They have to come together.
Right. They have to complement with each other.
They
Excellent.
have to complement each other. Definitely.
Super. And my next one, like, do you think AI can ever truly understand human emotion, or will empathy always remain a human monopoly?
Artificial intelligence cannot uh, have empathy, compassion. Those, values and those things are not something which a machine or some kind of a tool can do. This is basically human and it will remain human. See, artificial intelligence cannot come and hug you or make you feel, like there is a closeness and somebody who's there for you, the compassion a human being feels. So that part will remain with humans. That part cannot be taken over by artificial intelligence.
I don't know if you have watched this movie, Robo One, starring, featuring Rajnikant. Right, in that movie, it was very well portrayed. Right, in case if machines have emotions, right, it will become a disaster. And I wish this empathy part and compassion stays with humans, and it should be our monopoly itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No way anybody can take that away.
All right. So moving to the next one, what are the biggest misconceptions leaders have about intelligence today, whether emotional, artificial, or neural?
Yes, a lot of leaders think, or actually, a lot of individuals think emotional intelligence means something to do with mental health. In fact, I've been asked this question, when I say I'm an emotional intelligence coach, they say, what's that? Like, how does that something to do with emotions, the brain, the mind, or whatever? So a lot of people have lesson, but yes, a lot of people have also now started to understand that emotional intelligence is not something which is added to as a tick mark to your training programs. It is essential. It has become essential in the corporate world, in life itself. So, emotional intelligence, um, if everyone understands that part, how it uh, understands that how emotions play a part in our lives, and we can control them, we can maneuver them, we can change their path, life will become much more simpler for people. That is what I feel very strongly.
You often say this empathy is the new edge in leadership, right? So, how can leaders cultivate genuine empathy in high pressure environments?
Yes. So, we have grown up with the idea that leadership means obedience. We have heard great leaders also who have been, a loud voice, dominant, and they enter the room and people are quiet. And so leadership means dominance in your voice, in your personality, and everything. And it also means that people have to obey. But that doesn't work these days because that was without empathy, without compassion. If a leader says something, you don't question. In fact, even when we were growing up, if our parents said something, we did not question them. I mean, that was the norm kind of a thing. So empathy, compassion was not heard of in mostly in those days. But now you have to understand that when you are dealing with human beings, you must not treat them like some robots who are supposed to just listen to you. You have to give them the feeling that you are equally connected to them, that you care about them, you value their contribution. And that can only come through empathy and compassion. That cannot come when you just, as a leader, you say, no, this is my word and that's the end of it. No. You have to understand from where they are coming, why they are not feeling good today, why they are not able to perform today. Ask them the question. That empathy will work. And those leaders will be successful.
And what is one emotionally intelligent behavior that differentiates great leaders from average leaders?
That one emotion I would consider, I mean, there are so many. One is definitely empathy. That is very important. And if the leader can understand, along with empathy, if a leader can understand compassion as well, these two, as I mentioned earlier, will uh, make the leader more relatable, you know, and that is would be his success also.
And how can leaders rewire their brains to respond instead of react, especially during conflict or crisis? Because today we are in a fast paced environment wherein there is a lot of competition everywhere and people are trying to get into these kind of emergency situations, okay, when launching a product or service and so on.
Yes, the rewiring of brain is a science which we need to understand. Over the years, every individual is kind of conditioned into believing something. So we have our belief system, we have our so-called limiting belief system, I would say, where we have grown up believing certain things. This is the way it happens, this is how it should happen. But when we talk about rewiring the brain, um, here I must mention one thing that couple of years ago, I read a book. Uh, it was called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. Rewiring of brains is exactly that. How we change our thought system. And once we understand that part, that we can change it, the neurons in our brain create a different path and the pattern changes. Once the pattern changes, then you do not react, then you start responding, because that creates a little bit of a pause. As we say, if you're angry, just go for a walk, or just breathe. A pause, any which way, a pause.
Or
And
count
once,
down from 10 to 1 or something of that sort.
yeah, or 100 backwards. We did that, right? Yeah. So those things means take a pause. And once we take even if it's a few seconds pause, our brain then takes another pattern and changes the thought process to make us understand there is no need to react here. We can just step back and become an observer. And when you become an observer, then you realize that the situation can be handled in a different way. And that is the response we are creating, not the reaction. Because reaction is instant. And then you regret sometimes later on. Why did I react like this? But response will be thoughtful. And that can happen when that little pause happens. And that pause is creating the rewiring of the brain at that time.
Right. Yeah. Got it. I think that's a great idea. In fact, before we react, I think taking pause is very, very important, and that might change the patterns and that might change our response as well. That's a wonderful tip. And you also said like AI is the data brain and EI is the human heart, right? How do we keep this balance, especially in hybrid workplaces?
So artificial intelligence has come to make a good combination with EI and neuroscience. Okay. We have to accept that fact that um, accept AI as a combination, complement, not as something which is going to replace certain aspects of human behavior. So emotional intelligence, AI is the data, technical data, and emotional intelligence and neuroscience combine to make the human interaction work better. So these three can become a very, very, as I said earlier, very good and a very strong combination. If we can understand that we are not supposed to be scared of AI. It is there to help us, but it cannot replace something which the human mind and the human brain can do.
Right. Yeah. Got it. And imagine you are designing a leadership curriculum for 2030, right? 5 years from now. So, what would be the three essential subjects?
Okay, that's a far off thing. Not too far away, actually. We are almost at the end of 25. So, and entering 26 very soon. Uh, 2030, I would design it something like emotional intelligence and neuroscience, brain work, and of course, a combination of artificial intelligence to enhance the program, where every leader can be a better decision maker, and the decisions come with a lot of clarity and data. So artificial intelligence is going to help you bring the data in, and emotional intelligence is going to bring the clarity, and neuroscience is going to help you change the thought process. So brain work is there. All these three combinations, if I have to design a workshop, it has to be with all these three combinations to help leaders become give their or enhance or give their optimal best in any corporate, any organization. If they can combine these three aspects in their personality.
Yeah. I still wonder why all the colleges and the universities are overlooking the subject of neuroscience, right? Until you get into professional world and reach a certain stage in a career, you're not getting exposed to that particular aspect, which will benefit people and organizations in a I mean, immensely, if at all we start learning that neuroscience related topics much ahead in the career, right?
Yeah, here I would like to add, because I have become very now I'm trying to make the uh, institutes understand that the graduates that are coming out of the colleges and institutes are not prepared to face challenges in the outside world. Okay, they may be excellent, they may be toppers in MBA and whatever they are doing, but to manage people, to manage their life, to manage the challenges which they are going to face outside, they need emotional intelligence and neuroscience. Artificial intelligence is there. Both in institutes and colleges, they are going to be teaching. But these two things, if they can bring into this curriculum or system or have training programs for the students, I think the students went from the campus to the corporate world, their transition will be very, very strong and they will become, I think, excellent leaders when they enter the corporate world. So this aspect, what you have just brought up, is very, very, yeah, it's very important for institutes to realize that these training programs are a must now in any institute, so that the managers or the people who are MBA students, when they come out, they are prepared, they are ready to face challenge. So yeah, I would love, to be able to bring this to the students.
Absolutely. I think that would be great. And Arna ma'am, this has been amazing conversation with a lot of insights around emotional intelligence, neuroscience, and also artificial intelligence. And it's time for us to add some more spice and excitement to the episode, which means we have come to the second rapid fire round. And if you're ready, let's get the ball rolling.
Yes.
Okay. And here comes my first bullet. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
I think it should lead with the heart and think with clarity.
Lead with the heart and think with clarity.
Yes, I would rather have this as a billboard. Yeah,
Yeah. Excellent. And can you describe yourself in just one word?
I would call myself unstoppable.
And if AI had emotions, which one should it learn first?
If AI has emotions, it should be compassion. I think compassion will bring in empathy also. So compassion. Yeah,
Good one. And what's your mental gym routine?
mental gym is, as I told you, I meditate a lot.
Meditation. Okay.
Yes, I read a lot, and I work on myself whenever a disturbing thought comes in. So that part is very important for me. Most importantly, I play a lot of mind games on the mobile to keep my brain working. And so, yeah, games like Sudoku, Wordle, and I love brushing up my brain with those things. Yes.
So I conduct lean trainings in my office at day job. And I try to incorporate lateral thinking puzzles and all those puzzles which require divergent thought process wherein more
Yeah.
than one answer is possible. So I tend to instill that particular thing and it is working really well.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's wonderful. That is very helpful when you are
yeah,
training people. That is very helpful. Yeah.
very true. And then a myth about emotional intelligence that you wish to burst.
The myths that I would like to burst, which is there for emotional intelligence, is that people think it's something to do with your mental health.
Mm.
It does involve the mind, it does involve the brain, but it's not something which you attach. And people should feel that if we are getting coached by an emotional intelligence coach, that there is something wrong with us and we have to hide that aspect. Emotional intelligence, yeah, people should understand that it is something to do with how you understand your own emotions and then how you can navigate them. So that is a really, a myth that people have to look into very seriously. Yeah.
And if you could implant one neural habit into every leader's brain, what would it be?
I think every leader should be able to take a pause before responding to any situation.
Right.
And if they start doing that, there'll be less conflicts in the team. There'll be less of um, politics also, less of what do you call, uh, relationship issues will get solved in a corporate world. If they just take a pause and respond with empathy. Yeah.
And who is a leader you think embodies the perfect mix of emotional intelligence and artificial intelligence?
Oh, there are quite a few, I would say. The one name that comes to my mind is Microsoft head, Satya Nadella.
Satya Nadella.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
Satya Nadella. Yeah. He is, I've read about him, and I feel that if a person can be a leader like him, really, that organization is blessed.
Absolutely. And it is his
Yeah.
10th year as CEO. And today morning, I read the article about him in Times of India, and he has taken the revenue. I think the revenue has quadrupled after he has taken over, especially
Oh,
after
yes.
adopting that
Oh,
cloud
yes.
computing. And now that
Oh,
he
yes.
has ventured into artificial intelligence and all. And most importantly, employees are also super happy. Good one.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yeah. That's right. That's
yes. Next
yeah.
question. Finish this sentence. The future of leadership is.
The future of leadership is emotionally intelligent, neuro aware leadership that is neuro aware and human centric. Difficult words, right?
But
Human centric, because with artificial intelligence, what is going to happen, what I can see in the future, I feel may happen is that people will get away from that human touch that we long for. So it has to be human centric and aware about your brain. So neuro becoming aware of the neurological part of the brain also. And of course, artificial intelligence is going to be there in a big way.
yeah, got it. And here comes the last one for the second rapid fire round. What is one electronic gadget or a fantasy gadget that you'd like to see or invent yourself?
What I've been thinking about for a long time is that when we are able to manage our emotions, moods, we have mood swings and things like that. It should be a gadget where you can just press a button and change. So I'm feeling low in energy, I'll press the button and I'll be high in energy. Or I'm feeling a little depressed. Okay, now I want to feel happy. Press a button and become happy. So yeah, something that can manage your moods, change your energy levels on the emotional part, So just a gadget that can manage your emotions. Yeah.
I love it. I think it might be possible with Neuralink.
It can be. People have made some apps on it, but gadgets, yeah. We of course, somebody will invent eventually.
Absolutely. Great thought process. And after that amazing second rapid fire, let's flip back to the mainstream. So, what will be your one piece of advice to those aspiring to make big in their careers?
Sorry. Yeah. Um, those aspiring to make it very big in their careers, I think the one piece of advice that I would like to give is that please understand yourself first. Understand what is your strength. Understand where you need to better yourself, upgrade yourself, upskill yourself. Understand yourself in every which way. And once that happens, then you can work towards going to the next level. So everybody who wants to progress in their careers must be able to have self awareness, mindfulness, and then from there you take off. That would be something which I would really want every individual to think about.
Superb. We have had phenomenal conversation, and I don't know how these 43 minutes have gone by, but super insightful. And I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. And how is your experience being hosted on The Guiding Voice?
Naveen, I have no words. Really, I have been so uh, involved and so engrossed in answering your questions. I was just finding it so comfortable, and I love the questions that you have put up because they are so relatable to every human being, every individual, and I think everybody can take away a lot of inputs from this conversation to be able to understand the real meaning of all three, the real meaning and the real impact it can have on their lives. So, thank you so much for the way you have put up the questions and the way you have taken this whole conversation through. Uh, I have enjoyed every bit of it. I have loved it and I have enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the kind words and pleasure to host you. And looking forward to inviting you again to my show. And I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank, thank.
All right. So, sure. So, friends, that was our episode with Aruna Mookhey. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request in case if you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, request you to share with at least three of your friends or colleagues or family members who would also like TGB. So spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. Now it's time for us to cruise into the trivia segment, having an amazing conversation about neuroscience, emotional intelligence, and how artificial intelligence, all of them put together, become a perfect and powerful combination. I thought of presenting you few lesser known facts related to emotional intelligence. Studies shows that 90% of the top performing leaders score high on emotional intelligence, and which is far more than intelligent quotient alone. And the second fact is that amygdala hijack, a concept of neuroscience, explains why leaders often say or do things impulsively on stress before the rational brain, which is the prefrontal cortex, can take over. And third fact is that some Fortune 500 companies now use AI-driven emotional analytics to assess workplace sentiment and predict burnout, blending empathy with algorithms. And next is Harvard research confirms that empathy, self awareness, and adaptability are now the top three predictors of executive success in the AI driven decade ahead. So, folks, in a world where machines are learning to think, the future will belong to humans who learn to feel and leaders who master both. So do let me know if you have come across any emotionally intelligent leader who have demonstrated great empathy or compassion and who stood as a role model. So if you're watching this episode on YouTube, you can comment their name, or if you found it in Spotify or any other social media platform, you can comment there as well. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. So until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember, the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you on the next episode with another amazing guest. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.
Thank you.